Oh, okay. So I can't hear you guys, though, but here we go. Welcome to Superintendent Spotlight. He gave us the 20-second warning, and I was not prepared.
Neither was I.
Okay.
Shockingly.
Yeah, so here we are. Again, welcome to Superintendent Spotlight. It is Thursday, September 12th, our second show of this new school year, and we are happy to have our friends from Westfield Middle School here today.
Indeed we are. Indeed we are. And to my left is Principal McMillan. Hi, Jess. How are you this morning?
Good. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, absolutely. Can you introduce the rest of your team today?
Absolutely. I'm happy to introduce Jennifer Lavelli, who's our 8th grade assistant principal this year. Over
Welcome.
to the right, we have Jackie Osowski, an instructional coach, a new role in our building, and Beth O'Connor, also a new role in instructional coach, former
Awesome.
teachers.
And I'm going to get right back to that. I just want to say tonight, by the way, folks, is Westfield High School's open house.
It is.
So if you are a student or a parent of a student from Westfield High School, they have their open house tonight. Unfortunately, it's also our first CPAC meeting of the year, which is being held at Westwood on the second floor, 94 North Elm Street, and it's our CPAC.
Special Education Parent Advisory Council.
There you go. Thank you. All right, we haven't forgotten that.
No, remember our acronyms, right?
Yes. Now, today's an exciting day because for those of you that are just, except for Jesse, everyone is their first time on the show, so we play 4 songs. The last song we don't actually hear, I just tell you what it is, and I'll tell you what number it was on the top 100 of that year at the end of the year. So what you have to try to do is guess the year that all these songs were in the top 100 of this particular year. It's kind of fun, and it sometimes makes us feel old. But it is fun, and we don't do really modern music because it's so foul now these days with the lyrics that we can't play it on the air. So or at least inappropriate. But today's also National Chocolate Milkshake Day.
It's a good day.
Now,
Do you like chocolate milk?
I was going to say,
Oh, yes.
Does anyone not like chocolate milk? Like, who does not? How can you not like it? Do you like milkshakes? Strawberry is actually my favorite, but chocolate will suffice for sure. And we may be having a special treat later for the end of the show. So, but here's some quick facts about milkshakes. Are you ready? Mm-hmm. Did you know a frap is a milkshake?
yes.
Some people think it's something different. Yeah, I don't know. And so I grew up in Holyoke, and so on occasion I would go to Nick's Nest. You ever go to Nick's Nest for a hot dog?
One of the best hot dogs I ever had.
Delicious.
Yeah.
They have fraps too. So not that that's a healthy combination.
Well, if you've ever seen the hot dogs on the kind of roller at Nick's Nest,
Yeah.
right, with the grease and the
Butter.
and yeah.
But that's what makes it taste so good.
Yep.
Yep. I remember one time I was teaching, and Nick's Nest had a rollback to their 1920 prices. It was
Your
like
hot dog for a nickel.
a nickel. It was a nickel.
Yeah.
You know who does that? Is Jack's Hot Dog Stand in North Adams. They
Really?
have really inexpensive
Hot
hot
dogs?
dogs. Yeah.
Now, if you want a hot dog from Nick's Nest, it's over $4.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
So
Oh, wow.
inflation. So yeah, a frap is a milkshake. So if you ever wonder that, some people think, not that I would drink, but that milkshakes help with a hangover the next morning if you've been drinking.
Oh.
I didn't know that either. So, and lastly, the largest milkshake ever made was made by Ira Freehoff in 2000. It was 6,000 gallons, and it was the equivalent of 50,000 normal-sized milkshakes.
Oh, my gosh.
I wonder who drank that.
Sounds perfect.
A small army.
The small army. All right. So just a little quick preview of the show today. But so Jesse, before I digressed us or made us go off track, you were talking about coaches. So can you explain for our listeners what a coach, an instructional coach is, you or the coaches themselves, anybody? But
Absolutely.
I think when you're, think about our audience, parents particularly, have no idea what a coach is. I mean, I think they know what a coach is, but an instructional coach is a little different.
Yeah. So a lot of times we focus on interventions for students, Tier 2 intervention, which we've talked a little bit about on the show,
Right.
making sure that we have a number of resources available to them to meet their needs.
Well, just a quick review. Tier 1 is instruction that everybody's getting.
Correct.
Tier 2 is for those who need interventions at a certain level, and Tier 3 it was obviously more deeper interventions,
Yes,
essentially. Okay.
absolutely. So one of the things that we don't often talk about is the type of support that we should be providing for teachers. So we provide the support for students, but it's incredibly important that we provide support for our instructional staff as well. So for this upcoming school year, we decided to reallocate some funding and some positions to create these 2 new positions, which allows in-house experts who have been doing this for a very long time to push into classrooms with our instructional staff to observe, to provide informal feedback. They're not administrators, so we really want this to be low-key, low-stress, but it's an opportunity for them to engage in dialogue about their practices in the classroom, provide feedback about what they're seeing, and then an opportunity to reflect and revise. And it's just an ongoing cycle that continues throughout the entire school year.
So both of you have been in the district before this position. So this is a new position, your first year doing this position. I may have heard through a little birdie that you guys actually did some of the staff meeting the other day too, right?
Aha.
Yes.
So talk to us about, well, Beth, you've been teaching, we don't want to ask how long, but you've been in the district for some time. So
I know how long.
yeah.
But we won't go there.
We won't cover it. But now you're helping teachers.
Yeah.
Talk about the difference of that role for you, and what are you seeing so far? I know it's really early in the school year, but I think I'm hearing positive, so that's good.
Yeah, I think it is really positive. I thought at first I would kind of miss being in the classroom because that same sort of interaction with kids would be missing, but we're in the classrooms anyway. We're interacting with kids. We're working with teachers. Teachers are really excited.
Sure.
Really positive about what we're doing. We've already had people approach us and say things like, can you help me out with this? What can you do? And then, of course, Jackie and I also were working on this faculty meeting recently, but I don't know if it's different for you.
Yeah, I was nervous to, take the jump, but it's been really exciting, and we are still in classrooms a ton, which is awesome. And it's just been very interesting what you're picking up from your colleagues, and I feel like if I were to go back in the classroom now, I'd be such a better teacher because I've seen some great practices in week 1.
I look back, I haven't taught since 2007. And I look back at what I was teaching, and I'm like, gosh, I was a terrible teacher, I feel like, because of all the new stuff that you can do, And I taught history, and I tried to do interactive stuff. Still my favorite, we did a Civil War reenactment. I'll never forget that. That was really cool. But there's so much different, and first of all, our kids are different than
Yes, they are.
They're very different. And so keeping their attention and keeping them engaged is a challenge. And I think as a district, we have begun to embrace some instructional priorities, right?
Yes, we have.
Jesse, do you want
Yes.
Since you were part of that group.
Absolutely. So
what that is, and-
a little less than a year ago, DESE, Department of Elementary and Secondary Education, put out an opportunity for districts to join an instructional prioritization institute. So our curriculum director, Sue Dargy, and I and a few other staff members signed up for that, and we had the opportunity to go for 2 days and to review our data in depth and talk about our next step and engage in some really strategic planning. So out of that came a district instructional priority, which our superintendent embraced, and we had our entire focus on that at our administrative retreat, and every principal in the district is taking this and making it work in each of their buildings. So we did decide that our priority is really focused on student discourse.
What does that mean?
So we want students talking. We want them collaborating. We don't, the days are gone where you have your traditional rows and it's the teacher standing up there for 45 minutes. That's not what instruction should be. The instruction, teachers should be working as facilitators in the classroom and creating opportunities for them to engage with one another and step back and engage in productive discourse and productive struggle. So we've talked a lot about that at the middle school, and that's something that Jackie and Beth led at our recent staff meeting as well. And,
Excellent.
And how we want our teachers to feel as comfortable as possible moving in this direction, because it's really uncomfortable if you've been doing something for so many years, and this is students are going to push back a little bit because they're going to be uncomfortable, but we want this to happen on a daily basis.
And practice makes perfect. And it's interesting too, and when we sometimes think about when we were kids, how we were taught, and so parents too think to some degree that their kids should be taught the same way and follow the same, but times have changed so much. we all have our phones on our table. That's like instant fact checking too, right? So, and you don't have to memorize, and you're not going to the library to look up at the Encyclopedia Britannica anymore. You have it in your hand, and there's so our kids' attention span is also a lot less than when we were kids, probably, and so the discourse part actually probably has them processing the information, right? So they're learning more, and you know what I think is key about it, and why I was sold on it is they're probably going to remember it too, like a lot more than if I'm at the front of the room talking at them, and occasionally asking a question to check for engagement. But like that is a completely different strategy that I think is more modern, but I think it benefits our students, right? Chris, what do you think?
Well, and really needed at the secondary level. You know, for a long time in Westfield, our focus has been on the elementary level, and our kids, you know, if you've been to any of our elementary schools, our kids are talking to each other all the time.
They are.
Right? That's, my couple years as an elementary principal, it was huge growth for me as an educational leader, and to see now that we're embracing this, really pre-K to 12 is incredibly exciting, because our kids, like you said, Stefan, they're different. They need to interact with each other, right? Especially when we're shuffling them through, 48 minutes and then boom, we're off to someplace else, right? We need to take advantage of that time that we have and give them the opportunity to learn from one another.
And I think also a big growth part for me was working here as a principal, because when the students are working on a car, for example, in auto, they are communicating.
Absolutely.
They have to. And the engagement is so high because obviously they're interested too. But if they're doing a job on someone's car, because they do take in outside projects, they have to communicate to get the job done correctly.
And I think a lot of jobs are moving more towards like team-based work as opposed to individual work. So we're not preparing students if we're not preparing them to be comfortable in that situation.
Well said.
Right?
That is... Thank you.
You're welcome.
That is terrific. All right, Pete. Pete. Oh! Ken, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
Shame.
No. That's creature. That's a habit, right?
Shame. Know your name.
All right, we're going to take our first break and play song number 1. This song was number 11 on the year that we are looking for.
Yo
Underwriting for the community programming of WSKB is provided by the Boys and Girls Club of Greater Westfield, serving the youth of the Whip City and surrounding communities since 1969. For more information on the Great Futures Club for ages 3 to 5, happening weekdays, and the Club Teen Center for ages 11 and older, weekdays from 6:30 till 8 p.m., go online at bcgwestfield.org or visit the club at 28 West Silver Street. The Boys and Girls Club of Greater Westfield. Great futures start here.
Join me, Tina Gorman, each week from 6 to 8 a.m. for Wake Up Wednesday, when my guests and I discuss health, wellness, and lifestyle reimagined.
Community Radio.
89.5 WSKB. Live from Studio 120 at Westfield Technical Academy, this is WCPC Channel 15 at 89.5 FM, WSKB Westfield.
Welcome back to Superintendent Spotlight. Our guests today are from Westfield Middle School, but before we get back to that, I want to point out it is 57 degrees out right now.
I love it.
This is probably, for me, the best weather. You're not really, and then it's going to get to 81 today.
Isn't that amazing?
And so they call that, I think, diurnal variation, where this is probably the season where you have the maximum difference between the high and the low temperatures.
Right.
Look at that, huh? Pulling that
Yeah,
out.
that's impressive. That's a tier 3 word right there.
Yeah. So, but I think, and next week's going to be in the 80s actually. So maybe we're going to get a little bit of summers, and maybe Ken closed his pool a little too quick. I don't know.
Negative, sir. It was never going to go back above 70.
I know. My pool water was like in the high 60s. I'm not going in.
Yeah,
It's closing on
time to
Tuesday,
shut
so
that off.
It is.
Yeah.
But fall is great. You can start to see the leaves changing. It's just a good season. It's one of my favorites.
Oh, it's my
but then it takes us to the one I hate the most, which is the winter season. But so before we went on break, we were talking about instructional coaches, and you had planned a staff meeting. So do you mind sharing that a little bit with us, like what you what you did with the teachers?
So we're focusing on 2 discourse routines this year at the middle school, and the first one is a jigsaw.
Yeah.
So it was all about how to implement a jigsaw in the classroom. So we actually had teachers participate in their own jigsaw based on an article about how to get students to talk more in your classroom. And so they got a section of the article that they read, took notes on, and became experts on. And that's what we are asking them to do with their students, to have their students become the experts in their
I just want to say I feel a little bit better. I did that when I was teaching back in the early 2000s. It's a great technique.
It is.
Yeah.
And it encourages students to become the teachers in the classroom, which is really cool. And then they can go back and meet with a home group where they're each sharing their section of the article. So they're still gaining the information from the rest of the article by becoming the learners.
Right.
Nice.
And if you ever want to remember something forever, teach it.
True.
Like that's a good, really. Once you teach it, you should know. Like I remember some really bizarre facts about history, by the way. But, you taught some of that stuff, so it came out. So how did the teachers react to the activity?
I think it was really positive. People came up afterwards and were like very congratulatory. Thank you for the time. Thank you for, and on both things, on the jigsaw, but also the article they read.
Excellent.
People were thoughtful about how much they were talking and how they wanted to shift. Who was the
That's
focus of
great.
Speaking in the classroom. It was exciting.
Yeah, we've even had teachers ask us when we're in their classrooms to monitor how much they're talking versus student talk and how to increase the amount students are talking and kind of take the responsibility off of them.
I mean, you know why I love this? Because I also remember being a teacher, and oftentimes you're in your own little silo, aren't you? You're in your classroom. What you're doing is and you don't have a lot of time. At least you used to not have a lot of time to collaborate with your peers and get some good ideas as well. And I think it's just promoting a really, promoting a learning environment, not just for the kids, obviously, but for staff, too. That's huge.
Yeah.
And there's a ton of different strategies out there. And, the district, we've chosen 3 that we're going to implement in all of the schools over the next few months. But at the middle school, we specifically chose Jigsaw from September to December because of the research behind it. It's known to accelerate student learning. So, we're focusing on that, and then the next one from January to May is a different protocol that we're hoping to see in all of the rooms. So we want to go slow because we don't want it to be overwhelming, but we also want people to feel comfortable and confident in what they're implementing.
Well, and as a district, we pulled back a little bit on some other things that we have to do so that we can really make this a focus. Obviously, our goal is to increase student learning. I mean, look at it, I'm not about test scores. That's not my thing, but I want our kids to know. We have to live and die by test scores because of the state, but in the end, it's more important for me about what do the students actually learn.
Right.
And can they take that knowledge and apply it to to whatever they're going into in terms of a field, or if you're at the middle school, whichever school they're going to, they have to be able to apply it. So your jigsaw activity and other things are actually helping prepare students, hopefully, for when they go into whether you're Westfield Tech or Westfield High School a little bit better, and even college.
Right. That's the goal, right?
If that's the choice. All right, Jen, you haven't chimed in much.
Yeah.
So what are your thoughts on this? So Jen, this is your second year in the district,
Yep.
correct? You came to us from Pittsfield
Most recently, yeah.
most recently. And I'm so glad that you are in agreement that Westfield is the best field. No,
I used
seriously.
to have a T-shirt that said that. No, when I was teaching at the middle
like that.
school, I had a T-shirt that said Westfield is the best field. Yeah.
But what do you think? I mean, you could, about this, about any thoughts, and since joining the district.
Yeah, so all of my experience prior to coming to Westfield was in districts that were in turnaround.
Okay.
And so it's really exciting to be in a district where you have this opportunity, right, not just to like get out of turnaround and pull yourself out of that hole, but to go from like good to great, right? So
Right.
that's continuous improvement, prioritization of different things. That's something that's certainly mandated when you're in those turnaround schools. So it's really nice to be at like this start at this great jumping off point and pick something like student discourse that's not just rooted in, like you said, some of the test scores and has these broader implications for student achievement. So it's really exciting.
Yeah.
Having only been here and already seeing some of the things that Jesse and the school have put in place, I'd be shocked if we didn't see gains from some of those things we've already put.
Oh boy, I wish
in our
we had our
classrooms.
scores now so we knew the answer to that question, but
If
we don't.
only we knew. And so, yeah, I think Discourse is a really exciting one. I know that there's some tools that we're hoping to use, like walkthroughs, for example. So we're
Right.
trying to get in the classrooms more.
Non-evaluative walkthrough.
Non-evaluative, that's learning walks,
Learning
walkthroughs, as opposed
There you
to,
go.
that evaluations, a lot less formal, just to kind of measure what we're seeing. So, our from a student engagement standpoint, right? So our teachers are being, taught these different protocols, these different tools, and that's great, and they're implementing them, and we're seeing that. So what are we seeing from students? How are they, what level of reception do they have to these things? So
And I hope it's positive. I mean, have we seen that
Yeah.
yet? Have
Yeah.
you seen
Yeah.
some
Yeah.
of that?
Very
Yeah.
positive.
Because engaged students it's a home run, really, when you have that, because not engaged students sometimes results in disciplinary issues
Sure.
and other things. But when our kids are engaged in their learning, that's their focus, right?
yeah, I think from an engagement standpoint, it's really exciting because I know, again, you touched on like test scores, and a lot of times the only way students have been able to demonstrate their learning is through reading and writing. So now we've given them another outlet to show us what they know. So the hope is that we see more participation and a lot less of some of the
Well,
passive
if you think
stuff.
about the way we communicate, Jen, with reading and writing is great, right? But we speak more than than anything else. So teaching our kids that skill alone, right, in different settings, in different formats, it's a home run.
Well,
Well,
the
and
interpersonal piece for sure.
Well, this generation is different because they've grown up texting too. So I think it sometimes they don't, like, we grew up talking on the phone.
Sure did.
Remember we actually had to pick up the phone.
And we were talking to people in person.
We did exactly.
Remember
It wasn't
those
always
days?
text messages.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just thinking back. You used to be talking the phone, and then you'd hear that click on the other line because your mom had picked up and was listening on another phone in your conversation. Or somebody at your house was, right. That's all gone. So teaching our kids to communicate and is huge, and that is one of the things we hear from our employers. Through the
Oh,
Westfield Education
yes.
and Business
Oh,
Alliances,
yes.
is the communication piece, and also social media use, but that's a whole other topic for a different day. But so our students need to learn how to interact with people, not through just text messages. And so this is an important piece. So when you, and you had commented on this, Jackie, a little bit about, the kids that they're becoming the teacher and teaching the other information, that forces people to be engaged, essentially. And not in a bad way, but you hear the word force and you're like, but it just encourages, maybe that's a better word, students to participate in a positive way, right?
Yeah, and pushes them out of their comfort zone.
So how does that work? And I'm not trying to be, how would that work in a math class?
That's an excellent question because we've been getting a lot of sort of reaching out from math teachers, how do we do this?
Yes, I
And
bet.
what's fantastic is we were able to watch a math teacher dive right in and be like, I'm going to try this jigsaw strategy. And I don't care if it really works or not, because she went in with like a very positive learning attitude and walked away and thought that like this is going to be something that she does all the time. They were practicing similar things with different problems to solve, becoming the expert on how to solve it, moving in, sharing what they did, talking about how they came up with an answer with partners, moving again, solving some more. It was an exciting thing to watch.
That's terrific to hear, because math is a tough. Sorry, for a lot of people,
Yeah.
it's a little tough. So to hear that is very positive. All right, Ken, I got it. We're gonna take. By the way,
Yes, sir.
that first song, I forgot to tell you what it was. It was Laboma by Los Lobos, if you were not aware. And the second song, this is number 19 on the year that we're looking for. We'll be back in a few.
Here she come now, say moaning, moaning. Shoot 'em down, turn around, come on, moaning. Hey, she give me love and I feel alright now. You gotta toss
Support for the community programming of WSKB is provided by the Dunkin' Donut Shops of Westfield and the Sardinia family. It's nice to know that even as the world changes, Dunkin' Coffee remains the same at 7 convenient locations throughout Westfield.
I'm Mark Auerbach. Join me every Friday at 8 a.m. for Arts Beat, where you'll meet interesting actors, directors, designers, and musicians here in Western New England.
Community Radio.
89.5 WSKB. Live from Studio 120 at Westfield Technical Academy, this is WCPC Channel 15 and 89.5 FM, WSKB Westfield.
It's part of your cable. Yeah.
And we're back.
Somebody was ready before me.
Just didn't want that dead air. That's,
No, we couldn't have that. So,
Student discourse, faculty discourse.
absolutely. So, all right, are you ready? National Milkshake Day.
Here we
We're
go.
gonna go back to that.
Yes.
It is definitely a treat to have a milkshake for sure. Simple, sweet, and delectable chocolate milkshakes aren't just one of the best treats of all time. They're also a reminder of our innocence and a symbol of America's pastime. Think about, not that any of us were alive in the 50s. I think I can safely say that, right? Yeah. Okay. Just making sure. But you had the milkshake. You went to like Abdow's or something too, and it's just there's a big pastime with milkshakes, right? So I think, and why are we able to have milkshakes? Well, we have to thank the electric blender for that. So that was a pretty nice invention that helped us get there, right? But actually, do you know that the concept of milkshakes came from eggnog?
I could see that. I could see that.
Do you like eggnog?
I do.
No.
too?
I like it a lot.
No.
In moderation.
In modern.
Oh yeah,
Like-
that's
All right.
I can't put away a carton of.
no.
It's too sweet, isn't it? I don't know.
Oh, it's really rich. Yeah.
But it's not a milkshake. Like the milkshake has the ice cream piece, I think, is what or at
Yeah.
least that's what makes it better.
You could probably have an eggnog,
Eggnog
milkshake.
milkshake, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
There you go.
Challenge accepted.
yeah.
Prior to the Thanksgiving.
So in a little bit, we're gonna have our guests here. But again, if you get a frap, it's a milkshake. I just want to remind you.
Gotcha.
I think frap is a Boston term or Massachusetts.
It's
type.
definitely in Massachusetts.
Where does the fribble fall in the
Friendlies.
frap?
Friendlies.
And the milkshake. Is that just like a company specific? Right?
I think
It's
it
not
is.
like a different type.
It
There's
is,
nothing
and
that makes
actually,
it different.
a strawberry fribble used to be my favorite thing. Oh my goodness, I haven't had one of those in a while.
No.
Probably should stay away from.
Stay away.
All right, so again, our guests are here from Westfield Middle School. So, Principal McMillan, what else do you want to go into today?
Yeah, we're really excited to announce that we've completely redesigned our schedule at the school too. So we've had a significant decrease in disciplinary referrals. You've talked about engagement. We want
That is
students
the
in
key.
the classroom. It's the key. And one of the things in a school is when you have so many periods and so much movement, so many transitions, it just impacts the flow of the day. So we went from a 7 or 8 period day to 6. So we have 57-minute classes right now,
Nice.
which is fantastic. So we've talked a lot about an instructional delivery model, which is what Jackie and Beth are working on as well. So we want teachers to be thinking about how do we break up the 57 minutes, because we don't want students just in their desks the entire time. We don't want teachers at the front the entire time. So we're talking a lot about how to break that up. So we have, for example, a learning target. Every day students walk in, they should know exactly what is expected of them by the end of the lesson. So it all starts with I can. So in every single classroom, it's posted in the same location. The teachers review it at the beginning of the lesson. Students are reading that aloud, and then they assess it at the end as well. They move into a mini lesson, so teachers should be working on direct instruction for 10, 15 minutes maximum. And then they move into their learning activities. So the 57 minutes really allows us to focus on that. And it's just exciting to see the disciplinary referrals decrease.
No, you always want to see that. But
yes.
how are the teachers adapting? And I know it doesn't seem like a lot, an extra 9 minutes, but it is.
Yeah, that was huge. I
Yeah.
think that's something we certainly.
You multiply that times 180 days.
It's a lot.
It is. How are the teachers adjusting?
One of the things they say is that they're feeling less of that pressure to get something
Absolutely.
finished, to get through things, so that there's time in the classroom to really sort of focus in depth on things. We have a lot of people coming to us that very excited about how to use that time with ideas of what they might do differently or what they used to do but couldn't because there wasn't
enough time. Yeah.
So, yeah.
I used to have 47-minute periods, and it flew by.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And you really couldn't get into anything. It felt like you couldn't get like some activities, obviously, and so they had to be over multiple days, where you wish you could have just gotten it all done in one day. But it's going well. The kids are doing okay with it.
Yeah, so far so good.
Clearly, if the disciplinary referrals are down.
Yeah, so they're staying in the classrooms. We're not seeing the frequent flyers in our hallways. So that tells us that there's positive things happening in the classroom.
Right. So how's the feel of the school year? If you have to describe it.
Yeah.
It's new.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I think I've said this word a lot, but it's exciting. People
All right.
feel like there's an energy. People feel really positive. You get that sense in the building that it's a really positive, like we're moving forward in a there's that word again, positive.
Nice.
but
That's
like
not a bad
it
word.
feels
We'll take it.
upbeat.
It's better than the alternative.
Yes.
And welcoming.
Yeah, and
I've
welcoming.
been
Yeah.
pleasantly surprised with how welcoming teachers are, inviting us in to see their classrooms. And
that's the
that's
part I
been
was saying.
exciting, too.
Teachers, you're in your own silo. You don't have a lot of time to collaborate. So there were no instructional coaches when I was teaching. I didn't
Nope.
teach with that. Did you ever have that?
No.
And now I think it's an exciting piece because, teaching and learning changes over time. And there are new methods, new pedagogy that's out there that I think, unless you're in college, and I'm not saying they do the best job training you necessarily either. The best training is when you actually walk into a classroom.
Absolutely.
And that is your best training. And figuring out either you're going to be able to do it or not. So, you got 30 kids, 25 kids in front of you, and you're on. That's the best training that you can get. But when I was teaching, I did always look at, like, what else can I do differently? What can I do better?
Sure.
And I remember people used to say to me when I first became a teacher in the 90s, dating myself, but they would say, "Oh, once you have your lessons done, you're set for life." Like, no. What are you talking about? I'm not set. Like, if I did the exact same thing I did last year, if it was a terrific activity, but you always tweak, don't you?
Yeah.
You always
Oh, yeah.
change things. It's never the same. And in fact, if you are doing the exact same thing and you're still handing out sheets that have purple ink on it because they were mimeographed back in the day, you're probably not keeping up with the times. And I'm not saying that to be disrespectful.
No,
but
and-
you have to adapt with the students that you have in front of you too.
Well, and the job is harder than it's ever been.
I would agree with that.
The job is
100%.
harder than it's ever been. We're and Beth and I can tell you when we started, and again, I won't tell you the year, but just teaching itself was a challenge, right? And now it's encompassing. We're becoming everything to everyone, and it's not that we don't want that responsibility, but to hear, this is music to my ears, to hear, Jesse, that the schedule has changed, as we've talked about before, giving our kids and our staff more time. Right, and more opportunities to dive deeper. It's what we need to do at the secondary level. It's time. It's
And
time.
the piece on time is it's critical with collaborative planning too. So
Absolutely.
Beth and Jackie are leading a once weekly collaborative meeting time for 57 minutes. So all
that's
teachers
fabulous.
in the building are getting this every week. There's a highly structured meeting 4 out of the 5 days a week. One is with an assistant principal as a student support team. One is with the coaches. One is with our content supervisors. Every other week I'll be joining that. So our focus is on keeping the main thing. Let's focus on instruction. Let's propel our school forward, which we're starting to see, and we're going to capitalize on the energy that's in the building right now.
Well, and the decrease in disciplinary referrals, Jen, have to free you up to be able to support this work, right?
Yeah, no, so that's one of the really exciting things. I know that when I came on board and joined the middle school, Jesse had a few ideas around, how to use just looking at the role of assistant principal in the other district I was in, they had an assistant principal of teaching and learning.
Yes.
So I had a radio, but I wasn't expected to respond to calls for behavior,
Right.
so that I could preserve that time to meet with teachers. So it's great now because not only do we have that system in place, but we have these coaches who can lead those meetings, freeing me up. If I'm not managing those behaviors, then I can be in the classroom. I can give more of those evaluations so that teachers aren't just getting that once a year kind of high stakes.
Right.
We're able to be in the classrooms more, both formally and informally, which I think teachers appreciate. I'm no longer just this person that they see, now and again. When it comes to evaluation time and the deadline's approaching, I can be in there. They can see that, we support them in what they're trying to do. It's really exciting when, Beth and Jackie said, there are teachers who are welcoming us into their classroom because they're trying out something new. They're saying like, hey, this week, can you come in? We're really trying this out. I'm like, absolutely. And I'm not in there, to pull a student who's maybe not.
What do you tell staff that are afraid to fail with these new techniques? Anybody?
Good
That's
question.
great. Well, that's something we're modeling even in our roles, right? We talked about teachers being reflective practitioners as leaders of the building. We need to be vulnerable, and I think it starts with us in modeling that for our staff too. And so, we're constantly reflecting, we're constantly sharing, the things that we can do as an administrative team to adapt with the times, and there are things that I did 5 years ago as my first time as a principal that I can't do now. It's completely changed. So it's always evolving. So I think just continually sharing that message that we too are a part of this process. It's okay. It's not high stakes. We're going to fail at times. So we repeat that in our messages, our staff meetings, as much as possible, so they know it's a safe place.
Is it okay to fail?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Sure.
That's part of learning to be.
But don't give up.
Yeah.
Right. That's the key.
Try again.
Try again.
Well, and I think we talked about it. Maybe we didn't nail it specifically earlier, but sometimes just hearing some of the teachers saying, "Hey, come on in. I'm going to try this," and I don't care, right? About and because for a lot of us, when we were taught how to teach, and we were teaching younger, when we were a little bit younger, right? Control. Right, we had to make sure we controlled the class. Right, we were the purveyor of control. Now this student discourse is all about releasing the control.
That's hard.
And that's
Hard for some people. It really is.
It is.
And even I think even when I did the jigsaw activity as a teacher and the students were doing their thing, I mean, I was around the room and going to all the groups too to make sure they weren't talking about other things, right? But at the same time, because we often teach the way we were taught. And so we were often lectured to, right? I mean, and so that's what we knew, and that's what, and oftentimes I will tell you, some of our parents expect too, because that's what we knew. It's not wrong, by the way. It's just, really just a fact. I mean, we teach how we were taught. What are you going to say? Something you got?
Well, yeah. I mean, I had two high school PE teachers when I was in high school. One was retiring on his way out, so class would start. He'd roll the ball out and open the newspaper. So I don't think I did that.
Good.
But, right. I was just thinking that now. What a great guy, but man, he had the gig of a lifetime. Coffee in one hand, newspaper in another, while we're playing kickball. Yeah. Wow.
Okay, don't teach that way.
No, don't do that.
All right. Ken, we're going to take our third break, and if you could play number 4 instead of number 3, and this song is number 67 in the year we're looking for. Is he there? Oh, there we go.
When the night has come and the land is dark and the moon is the only light we'll see. No, I won't be afraid. Oh, I won't be afraid. Just as long as you stand by me. So darling, stand by me. Oh, stand by me. Oh, stand by me. Stand by me. If the sky that we look upon should tumble and fall, or the mountain should crumble to the sea, I won't cry, no, I won't shed a tear, just as long as you stand by me. And darling, stand by me, oh, stand by me.
Live from Studio 120 at Westfield Technical Academy, this is WCPC Channel 15 at 89.5 FM, WSKB Westfield.
And welcome back to Superintendent Spotlight. If you can see on the screen, we have some guests with us today, and they are here to help us celebrate National Chocolate Milkshake Day, which is a great day, I think, because I love milkshakes. Yeah. And so we'd like to know a little bit about what we're about to taste, right? And how it was made, and you know, are they hard to make? Like, what if I want to make these at home? Can I do it? What did you have to do?
I'm not the chef.
You look like a chef.
Today I made chocolate milkshakes.
Okay.
And you can make this at home. Very easy. All you need is chocolate.
I have a microphone right in the front of that table.
Oh yeah, sorry. I was wondering where it went. Aiden, come grab that.
Aiden.
Sorry.
That's okay.
Make sure it's on. I think it's on, Aiden. I think you're good.
Is this on?
Yes.
I think you can.
Good? Okay.
Okay.
So yes, you can make this at home. It's very simple. What I made it today with was chocolate ice cream, sweetened condensed milk, which gives it that extra sweetness, milk, and that's pretty much it, right? Yeah. And the whipped cream that we made for you guys today is homemade, with vanilla and powdered sugar.
You made that too?
I did make that too.
Wow.
All whipped cream in culinary is homemade, never from the store.
And
always
it should never
made
be.
with
It's
never. Fresh is always 100% better than getting it at the store, and it's
We
so
agree.
easy to make. You just
So it's
have
not
to,
like Cool Whip.
No, definitely not. All you have to do is take heavy whipping cream, start low, increasingly go up, and then you have whipped cream.
So, but you just have the heavy cream in a bowl, and you just start
With a whisk.
with a whisk. Do you
Yep.
put sugar in it, or does it?
Yep, powdered sugar and vanilla
And
to give it a
vanilla,
little bit of
delicious.
taste to it.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. And the chocolate milk. Go ahead.
How come I can't whip milk?
Yeah. Why can't they do that with milk?
I'm putting you on the spot.
It just doesn't create air, right?
It doesn't have
Yeah.
the
Doesn't have
I think skim milk.
Does it have something to do with the fat content?
fat content.
Oh, there we go.
Yep.
Okay. See? Look at that. We're all learning.
35% fat in heavy cream is what stabilizes and holds the air.
Yep.
So heavy cream isn't really very healthy for you, is what you're saying.
Moderation.
Moderation. Okay.
And today we're going to have cherries on top with fresh shaven chocolate done by two wonderful freshmen who on their first day have done so well.
Can we meet the freshmen? Can we meet the freshmen?
Yep.
All right. Give us your name, and obviously you're in grade 9. And do you want to be in culinary? I know these are the 1 days, right?
Yes.
It's okay. Chef won't take it personally if you say no. But
I was going to say, you don't want 150 kids, do you?
right. But we do love culinary here. I got to be honest with you.
So my name is Rhea Graham. Let's see. I do want to be in culinary. That's my dream
All right.
passion.
You got a good teacher here.
You've been in a culinary camp.
Yes, for 2 years.
You went to culinary camp.
Yes.
So you're really preparing for this.
Yes.
Do you see yourself being a chef someday? What do you?
Mostly a baker.
A baker. All right. We like that. Okay.
My name's Sophia Hartley, and I didn't expect to want to be in culinary, but today's kind of fun, so I might think about it.
Something to think about.
It is.
Yeah.
And even if you don't, you still pick up some skills that you'll be able to take with you for life. So just keep that in mind. But I'm sure we'd love to have you take culinary too. All right. Any other questions for the students? They did a nice job explaining.
Thank you very much.
We're very excited. So now we have to sample.
think it's low fat.
Low fat.
Low fat today.
Everything's low fat. There's no calories.
No,
We
no.
celebrate
Hey, so
these
while
days on the show.
while we're sampling, do you want to go around and take the guests for the year for the songs?
Oh yeah, so the
'Cause we're
last.
running out of time.
Yeah, because I got to go too. All right, thank you. So the last song, all right, that was "Stand By Me" by Benny King. That was number 67, and the last song is gonna be "Little Lies" by Fleetwood Mac, number 51.
Oh, yeah.
Tell me lies.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna sing for you, but that was it. So, Ken, what's your guess on the year?
Well, that last song was your red herring.
Yes.
Because originally it was from the 60s.
Right.
I need to try to remember what year that the movie came out that song was brought back for. I'm torn between 2 years, but I will go with 87.
Okay, all right.
What was the guess?
He guessed 1987.
Oh, okay.
Jen, what do you think?
I was going to say 86.
86. All right.
I'll go with 88.
88.
87. I wrote that down right after Moni Moni. 87.
I'm going to go with 92.
92. All right.
I'll go with 85.
85. The answer is 87.
Yes.
Yeah.
1987. Nice job.
Yep.
Go, Ken. I didn't
Thank
throw
you.
Ken off, apparently. I tried. Look at that. So they're now putting the whipped cream on top of. What's that thing you're pushing the whipped cream on? What's that called?
It's her first day in culinary.
I know. I'm putting him on the spot. What is that?
Look at that.
I'm going to take a picture of this.
I'm gonna
This is
try to lead you
majestic.
to the right answer.
Look at
It's
that.
plastic. It kind of looks like a.
My first day at the show. I'm like,
Think of like maybe something you might put grapes in and zip the top of it.
oh, is it Ziploc bag?
Okay, so take the last word, and you were in the bakery department, and we refer to pastry, so it might be called a.
Pastry bag.
All right.
And you know what kind of tip that is? Nailed it.
Nice.
See now,
First day in culinary. Look at that.
See now, Mr. Zaporowski, the fact that they are making whipped cream fresh and then taking it out of a pastry bag,
Yeah.
I think that tops throwing the ingredients into an ISO and using that.
Agreed. Well,
Yes.
I'm watching her shave chocolate on top of it right now, so that's pretty impressive too.
Thank you.
Talk about authentic milkshakes here. That's pretty exciting.
That's a good consistency right there.
See, and this is great for me because the kids are explaining what they've
What they're
learned
doing,
to
yeah.
us.
I said you can
Not
definitely
quite a jigsaw, but it
But
does.
discourse.
There's
Discourse.
discourse happening,
Yeah.
and these kids are on a TV show and radio. Most people panic at that
Right.
stuff. So we try to. That's why I was telling Beth earlier. We try to have students on regularly because I think it's good for them as well in order to improve their speaking and listening skills. Really. So, what standards is that? What standards am I covering?
On the spot. Well, the speaking and listening standards.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we're trying to see that even on Superintendent Spotlight. Ooh, that looks good. Thank you.
Thank you. Very good.
And we'll be able to drink these through a straw.
I do have spoons, but I don't think we need them.
No, it's
Thanks,
perfect.
Sophia.
I like to work for it.
You.
Oh, they're bendy straws.
Oh, my favorite.
Straws are right down here.
We do have one for Ken too.
Did you taste it?
We'll come up with something. I'll bring one down again.
Okay. All right.
I'll let them know.
Everybody have one? How are they?
Amazing.
Amazing.
Really?
Oh, you guys
Mine's
did an
gone.
amazing job, yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Oh,
Ken, they're bringing you one in a minute.
they taste just
Copy
like
that.
old school friendly ones.
Oh, wow. Huh?
Yeah.
It must be good because y'all are silent.
Well, I'm sorry, and that's bad for the show. We're not supposed to have dead air, but unless you can hear us sucking through the straw for the milkshake.
Very good.
You did a great job. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you for being on our show today. And I hope you both, I look forward to seeing you both in culinary when I come for lunch. And Aiden will always see you, so that's perfect.
Excellent.
All right, thank you. Okay, Ken, I think we're at 10 o'clock, so we're going to wrap the show up. Again, our last song is Little Lies by Fleetwood Mac. I want to thank our Westfield Middle School guests.
Yes, thanks for being here.
Thanks for being on the show.
Thanks for having us.
I think it was the fastest hour of my day sometimes. It went by fast. And I think, so next week we have one of our nurses, Liz Flaherty, and our athletic director, Greg Vuros. We're going to talk all about concussions, which are pretty serious. Just ask Anthony Rizzo, right? He had
Never been the same.
Never been
as
the
a
same
hitter.
since.
Yep.
So that's one of the reasons we want to talk about it. And
Right.
I know they have those new helmets in football too, or something.
Right.
So we're
when
going to talk about that.
when our kids practice now, and it's we're doing it. We're taking every extra precaution we can to limit the head damage. And
When we were kids, I don't even know if I knew what a concussion was at that point. Like, you didn't talk
You didn't
about
wear
it.
helmets for anything.
You didn't wear helmets for
Right.
bike riding,
No.
for anything.
No.
And now you got to protect the noggin,
Yeah.
folks. All right. Have a great week and a great weekend.
Thanks, everybody.
We'll catch you next week.
Thank you.
Thank you.